To unite all peoples within all nations.
Announce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Team Rocket's blasting off again!
You ruined it. And I hate you.
Welcome back to the Misfortunate podcast named Tentative. This is episode 3. And tonight we're going to start off by talking about the promotional site. A lot of new stuff in there. A lot of little tidbits of story and lore and things like that. I'd like to start off by... Oh, by the way, quick brief introductions. I'm Reggie.
I'm Jabe.
I'm Snow.
This is Jin.
One day I'll get the introductions right. Anyway, so how do you guys feel about the site? Like, it came up, it's kind of neat. You know, compared to like previous expansions, what do you guys think?
I think it looks nice. I don't really remember what the older ones look like, but on its own, it looks nice.
I really like the layout that they have here going with the backgrounds and the mini trailers for while you're scrolling down and it changing to the different views. Because in the other sites, right, you clicked on the pictures and you kind of scrolled through them, and they still have that, but it's just a lot smoother in this iteration. I like it a lot.
Looks really nice. It's really decent. More interactive. I don't remember either on the older expansions if they had anything like this.
So like,
text.
yeah, like Jabe said, there were just pictures that you clicked on.
Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's fine.
Yeah, it definitely looks nice, and it flows like Jabe says. You know, I overall I like what they did with it.
Yeah, like you're scrolling down here, like I'm on the systems page, and you're scrolling down, and it pops up the mini trailer for Gunbreaker and Dancer, and you got the little tabs right there. The little tabs are nice and large. You know what they are. You can see them relatively easy.
Oh no, actually no. This is actually much better than the.
And you scroll down and you see the races, and it's the same thing. So it's really nice. I like how they're doing things.
So before we went live, Sora had mentioned, I don't think you were here for this, Jen, but Sora had mentioned how, like, oh, you know, we should talk about how there ain't shit to do in this game right now. And it is kind of interesting because, you know, we weren't really expecting a lot until, you know, May, when they do like the job previews and things like that. So, I mean, do you guys feel like this kind of hypes you up a little bit, or the opposite?
It just reinforces of how long we gotta wait, to be honest.
Right.
So it just kind of makes you anticipate it a little bit more, Sora?
Yeah.
Yeah, good thing we don't have an ultimate to do right now.
I mean, I don't think an ultimate at this late into the expansion is probably a good idea as far as using a reset. So I think at this point they should be putting their development time. Well, not at this point, but the time that would have been used on making an ultimate for this would probably be better suited, being put towards the expansion. So I don't think we need an ultimate here, but at the same time,
what I think he said was that, you know, it's a good thing that we are progging through Uwu right now, because it's kind of distracting us from the, you know, from
the lull.
Yeah, if it wasn't for ultimate, I would not be paying myself right now.
Yeah. I mean, with Echo out ruining any sort of optimization scene, there's absolutely nothing to do.
It's dead.
I need to activate my push to talk really quick, because I realized that annoying little popping sound is back.
Yeah, you just wait for like 1 second.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll fix this real quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't we talk about the first thing the first thing that comes up is the story, right? And there's this brief little thing. It says it's got a picture of Derplander, and it says hero becomes villain as the warrior of light embraces the dark and embarks upon an adventure that transcends worlds. Pore over these records, learn about the lands and the foes that await, and prepare for the trials ahead. Before I make like any suggestions, what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's a little misleading, or?
I hope it's not misleading. I actually wanted to go villain this time.
Wait, it says hero. What is that? Where you see that?
Right in the story.
Hero becomes villain as warrior. I gotta see that to believe that. What does it mean? Hero becomes villain, because if we're just being Batman, which is borderline villain, anti-hero.
Pretty much what I said.
I mean, if we're actually doing harm, then I'll believe it. But if we're just like doing greater good type of thing, I don't know.
No, man,
well, the question is when we go to the first, so we become the warrior of darkness when we go to the first, assumedly, and then when we come back, because we're all assuming that we have the ability to go back and forth because of the Crystal Tower. Are we still the warrior of darkness, or are we a warrior of light again? Are we gonna be one thing on the first and another on the source, or are we gonna stay one thing throughout the entire expansion?
A really, really good point, Jabe.
I would say, okay, this is just my speculation. I don't think we're going to become pure evil. I think we're going to become necessary evil. That sounds like Bane. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be what needs to happen, basically, to prevent the twin calamities, the twin dooms that has been talking about while, the calling has been messing with people's heads. So, I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I just want to know if we're actually going to do some harm to innocent. And not innocence as in the prime. I mean to innocence as in like unrelated people, because this is a really bold claim, and it wasn't something I was actually expecting. In the original Final Fantasy III, right? The Warriors of Darkness only needed to, as far as we're told, is maintain the balance, right? But it was never explicitly said that they had to do harm in their world to maintain said balance. So, are we actually going to be hurting people? What?
I mean,
evil.
It's probably more or less propaganda. If I had to like stake a claim on an idea, I just think it's more or less propaganda.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be taken at all serious once the story plays out.
Well, do you think the Pixies are evil? Maybe not.
Well, if they're evil and we come there as the Warrior of Darkness and we stop them, doesn't that make the situation worse?
Well, Pixies are not malevolent, but they are whimsical, right? So they like to just play practical jokes on people and not trying to hurt them. They're just that way. That's how Pixies are.
I truthfully don't know. I agree with your first statement. I honestly don't see this panning out much farther than what the trailers are showing us. Become the Warrior of Darkness. I just think that's more so become the not so nice Warrior of Light.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't see it going any further than that. I'd be genuinely impressed if anything, if Heidelin shuns us because we become Warriors of Darkness, like if that becomes a facet of the story, then at some point we have to become the Warriors of Balance, right? So we have to learn how to channel both, is what I would say at some point, so originally Heidelin wanted to she sent Minfilia over to the first, with the intent of absorbing the excess light. As far as we know, that didn't work. So,
Right.
is that her fault that the light is too strong there? Is the question.
I mean, she may be the reason that anything still exists there, right? She may be absorbing light, but without darkness, that there's only so much she can do, right?
I think
So
she
more than
neglected
likely-
the first. That's what happened here.
Well, I mean, there's only so much she can do, right? So that's why we have to go there and become the warrior of darkness. Because even if you're absorbing light, you're not reintroducing darkness. You're just absorbing light. So there's no balance. There's just you staving off a wave of light. And so we're going there. We're going to go there and introduce the element of darkness that needs to be there.
Sounds like that bad ending to Smash Brothers. The light ending.
Oh
The
yeah, I
light
never made it
ending.
that far.
Oh, rip.
I'm working my way through it.
Honestly, that's not a
Very
spoiler to
slowly.
me.
I did, but I stopped playing because
Yeah,
it got boring.
I think instead the Warrior of Light, which now becomes the Warrior of Darkness, instead of nodding his head, he's just gonna shake his head.
Whoa.
It's gonna shake his head.
He's just gonna shake his head. No,
I,
I'm shaking my head.
SMH, bro. SMH.
I don't really know, right? So, I agree. I do think a part of the excess light that's there is the problem. But I have to wonder, right? Is Heidelin's intentions to maintain the balance, or are they leaning in the favor of light? Right? That's my question.
I mean, Heidelin has been portrayed as this idealistic mother, you know,
Yeah.
and so when the Warriors of Darkness are in front of Heidelin, right, and Minfilia's there as the word of the mother and stuff, and she's like, you really think I would let something bad happen to you on purpose and stuff like that, you know? So it's kind of the idea of, like, Heidelin isn't trying to, like, push her specific, you know, way of being on people, but she, I think she knows there needs to be balance. So I'm not really, I don't think Heidelin is trying to make everything light. Otherwise, she wouldn't have sent Minfilia there to begin with.
So I think the reason why the light is encroaching is more so her negligence, right? There was never a point where she said the balance has been established, right? Because originally the first was like many of the other shards.
Is it negligence of Zodiark that we're pushing light? You know, I don't think so.
One thing this website did answer.
It was just that the Warriors of Light were so strong that they banished all the darkness. So that's not necessarily Heidelin's fault.
What were you saying, Jen?
But why didn't she ever, you know, intervene and say you've done well, enough's enough, you know?
I don't know. Jen? What do you want to say?
Oh yeah, one thing that actually answers one of my questions that I've had since the beginning is that I was thinking they're gonna do like, oh, we're gonna go some new places in Eorzea and then 3 new places in the first, and it seems to all point to the first. All these new areas we're going to, like, if you look in the new areas, one is called Raktika. I'm pretty sure this is the place where you see in the trailer that Ishtola or Matoya is burning the forest down. These towers are very reminiscent of that.
There's no way that's on the first if that's what you're talking about.
No, that's the first.
That can't be, because if that's where
This is part of Norbrand, though.
if that's what you're talking about, I do recall them saying we'll hold the line till our friend returns.
Probably something to do with the story, but it says Journey to the First, and it says Norbrand. Norbrand is in the first.
So I actually heard from Happy this morning that the Ritika, whatever it's called, the woods, that is not on the source. That is actually the first. So yeah, I think I'm not saying that you're wrong, Sora, but I am saying that there is some, evidence to
Like-
support Jin.
Well,
Then
all
that-
of the areas are on the first, right? All of these areas are on the.
What is
That was the only area I had doubts on being on the first or not
Yeah, no,
because of
look
what was said during the cutscene. But
Yep.
if it is, that just
I mean-
means the context in which who's attacking there
like
isn't the
go
girl.
to like the Recticut tab, and you move in one of the pictures. You'll see the last one, I believe, or no, the second to last. And there's like those towers. Those towers are the same place that they were standing on as they were burning the whole place down.
I'm not sure about that one.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the forest they're burning down in the trailer. That's part of Rectica.
The cutscene begs the question: if you have the Echo, are you
what else are you looking at to say that? Jen?
Okay, I'm going to the story. You scroll down, go to the new areas. You click Rectica. You click on the little arrows on the side, and you see pictures of of this area right here.
Oh yeah,
And then
I
you
see.
go again. Yeah, and there's that tower right there where Urian J and Matoya are standing on as they watch the whole forest burn down.
I don't think that's
I
that.
don't know if that's the same tower.
We
'Cause if
saw that.
I mean, it's similar to that tower.
So the
but-
tower itself is already dilapidated, right? And the forest
Yeah.
around it is still there. So
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know about that.
the screenshots
It's-
could be like before or after, something like that.
Probably like that, yeah.
I think
It would have to be a long time after, and that wouldn't make a lot of sense unless there's time travel going on.
Please
So-
no.
Well, I will say, I don't know. I watched the Heavensward trailer again today, and it's like Race Valgar was never there to ambush us on the way to Ishgard. So
that was a mistake, though. That was implied to be Nidhogg. They flat out owned up that was a mistake.
oh, all right.
That was just his cousin, Derp.
So what you're saying is I'm not watching like a Russo's brother trailer where things might change continuity wise.
Maybe.
Well, so you're talking about the trailer of Heaven's Word and stuff. Like they
Where?
straight up said that the model that they used was just a generic model, and that it became Hraesvelgr and Nidhogg model, and they didn't mean it to mean anything when they used it in the trailer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in the trailer is it's just really cool and it looks good. But that's not necessarily how it's going to play out.
Right, but that was obviously a cutscene with dialogue options, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that had meaning. That wasn't just a throwaway conversation that they were having, right? The fight that you're talking about with the Warrior of Light versus Hraesvelgr, whatever you want to call that thing, that's not really one of either of them.
Yeah.
That was just to portray the idea that we're fighting dragons. But that conversation with the whole I shall hold the line until our friend returns, that is actually story based. No matter how you look at it, there's going to be a point in the story where that happens. It was my understanding, and I think everyone's understanding, that took place on a zone on the source, and Y'shtola was holding off the Garlean Empire until we returned from the first.
Right.
But apparently, it may just be that we're all on the first, and she's holding off some other force while we're doing something else.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, that could be
Thancred.
true, because Thancred's definitely on the first in the
sure.
trailer, right? Because Miniphilia is there chilling out with him.
Miniphilia?
Yeah, you're right. He's right.
Miniphilia? Yeah, sorry.
I borrowed that from Mr. Happy.
Miniphilia
I truly don't know.
Yeah, that could be in reference to Thancred and not necessarily the Warrior of Dark Lightness.
No, they're
Yes.
definitely talking about us. Our friend. They usually use the names of other characters, right? But the only time they won't use the name and speak in
Hey, man. For all I know,
pronoun. The pronoun games, they'll use the pronoun game is when they're talking about someone whose name is not necessarily set in stone.
For all I know, it could be misleading because remember the Stormblood trailer when you're fighting against Leaves, you're supposed to be fighting her like at the end of the story. I mean, you see that part where you get on the palm of the.
But it still happens.
Yeah.
That scene still happens like in the earlier parts of Stormblood.
Yeah.
Like
right before going into what's it called? The locks.
Alamigo.
Yeah, the locks. Yeah.
I don't know. I just know that there's a lot going on the first by what's going on. You know, you got Yulmore, you got the Crystarium, and a lot of our effort. Obviously, we're gonna go to Yulmore at some point. They wouldn't make it a city unless we were gonna go there and probably slap some fat cats around and be like, "What the heck you doing, fools?" And I don't know. Either that or they're just gonna kick us out of there, right? But I'm looking at the Aetheryte in here, and it's got all these little things at the bottom of it. It's just like, all right. So I think that we're gonna be centralized on the first, and therefore, if anybody, if any of our friends are coming with us, then they'll be on the first as well. So it's kind of up in the air. She was one of the trusts that was portrayed, right, in the system?
She was.
Yes.
So that's another thing you can pull from is like the trusts are with us and they're specifically designed for 5.0 content. So they're designed to be on the first. So what line is Matoya trying to hold?
Yeah, it seems very weird. Maybe it's something that's yet to happen, or something that's isolated. It's isolated in the incident, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who thought that she was referring to the Garlean Empire.
The Garlean Empire.
Yeah, that's what I assume.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was in the last trailer where they showed her when they showed her the first time, right? I don't know if they showed like all the meteors coming down, or I guess you could say the catapult type deal. It looked like, but it's very clearly in this full trailer here that there's like rocks being launched or there's meteors, and it could be like what I was thinking. It could be like a battle of the black mages, right? Like a black mage versus black mage square up. I mean, come on, think about it.
I don't really see the relevance.
All right.
I don't know.
Garleans can't cast magic, so it's not them.
It's not the You're right. It's not the Garleans. It's something else.
But then,
it could just be catapult stuff.
Why would light? If we're in a realm, it can't be Sin Eaters, because why would Sin Eaters fight with light? I mean, fire, right?
Yeah.
It's not Sin Eaters, so we must be fighting.
Must be completely something else.
You might be right, Jin. It might be the forest in Rectica that they're in. I don't know. It's really hard to say at this point.
It just doesn't. That forest, I don't know. It could be.
We go there because all the bunny girls are like, "Oh, warrior of dankness, how you doing?"
Hey girl, hey girl.
I guess I have to assume that those bunny girls want to fight before we're allowed in, because it just doesn't make any sense.
It's not worth it if they don't put up a fight, right? Just saying.
Shut up.
Smack my ass, warrior of dankness.
Dankness.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking. I was reading too much into it. But.
I mean, we don't know yet. It's not the first time that SC has managed to misdirect us in.
I mean, all the other trailers have been pretty straightforward in what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that samurai scene, right, where he deflects the bullets.
Well, that was clearly showing off.
That was through bullets. Hey, did you know samurais can smile faster than bullets can shoot?
Well, I do now.
That scene was clearly just there to establish that samurai is a new job. Gosetsu and Yugiri standing on the sunrise, looking in Kugane. That had nothing to do with the story. stories.
That's what I'm saying, man. We got like a full-on Russo brothers thing going on, dude. Like Hulk wasn't even in the fucking movie.
Like, the Stormblood trailer really doesn't show you anything, if you want to be completely honest. It just shows you an inconsequential scene with you and Lise before the final battle. That could have happened at any point. You know what I mean? So,
Up to Heavensward, they don't show you either.
I found it hard to believe that my Lalafell Astrologian was going to fight, you know, Lisa's mug style on top of Rogger's hand.
Yeah.
just punch her in the mouth, bro. Lise is trash. Come on.
Lise is trash.
I punted myself into her mouth.
Doesn't
Once
know
her-
her... but knows touch of death.
Once we get her haircuts, Lise is like a forgotten character. Trust me. Her haircut's the only interesting thing about her.
I mean, hey, man.
I'm
She's
just,
Please, come on.
like, unless we get the ability to marry NPCs, she's no.
I'm
What's the
sorry.
point?
I'm sorry that you were displaced by in conquering empire, and then you had to go and flee into another country.
But she didn't
Then
do
you had to
anything.
pretend to
in
be
the
your
game.
sister because your sister was like, I'm gonna go on a mission and probably get killed or at least MIA. And so now you're like, oh shoot, what am I supposed to do?
You could say that, right? But the problem here is that was all said to us, wasn't shown.
I mean,
If you had an NPC, who would you marry?
did you start in the Shroud when you started this game?
No, I started in Nulda.
So you didn't get to see Ida go and fight with Papa
Oh, yeah, she does
against
that
all
when
the
you
wolf
get-
and
Yeah,
all
she
that
does
stuff, and she was like, "Let's go." I was sold by the booty shorts, but
Well, again, right? She could have still been Ida. That revelation didn't really change anything for the character. I don't like the change that they gave the character for Stormblood didn't pay off in any way, shape, or form. Elise could have Ida could have just took her helmet off and said, "This is me now." You know, embrace the idea of taking off the helmet and looking towards the future as some sort of symbolical way of fighting the Empire now, because the time is now for them to fight back. We didn't need her to become an entirely different person that apparently everybody already knew who she was except for us. So that was the worst part of the reveal, when it's later revealed that they all fucking knew anyway.
I didn't know anyway.
Well, you didn't know, but the rest of the cast knew. All of them knew. It didn't surprise any of them. So it's like,
they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Lise."
yeah. And then again, like if she
Oh, that's what
played
you're
a more, again, this just comes with the problem with her trying to be the chosen one for the story and for Alamigo, but we're the chosen one for the world, right? Because we do majority of the stuff, and she just has to sit there and help. You know, the screen can never be put on her in the same way that it got put on Estinian. Estinian, he got the limelight, you know, for how the story portrayed him. Lise didn't get that. It's not even comparable. You know, we just had a little bit of her trying to come to terms with what it means to be a leader in the Zim step before donning her outfit and then back to the sidelines for the rest of the expansion.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I mean, you kind of bring up a good point, right? You know, the story kind of hinges on us, like, doing a lot of the work. But now we're going to be, you know, leaving to go to another dimension, right? And that's going to leave, our friends are going to have to carry the weight that we've been carrying.
Yep.
I mean, but who's there still? You know, that's the question. Who's there still?
Lise,
We don't
Ken,
know yet.
Yugiri, Amric, the three alliance leaders, the actual.
But then again,
alliances.
you know what?
That's it.
I did say the trusts were kind of like an argument for them being on the first, but not necessarily. Now that I think about it, because trusts in 11, and they said it wasn't necessarily going to work that way, but trusts in 11, and they may just mean like the gameplay is not going to necessarily work that way. But the lore for trusts is like they're just like a magical alter ego that you can summon, and they're there by your side. And the other person is still out there, in the world where they usually are.
I imagine that's how it's gonna have to be, right? Because I don't think they're gonna require you to use trust to do the story. And then even after you do the story, trust will, by not having it be that way, they're going to limit their ability to send characters to do certain things, right? You can't say anchor it to go infiltrate somewhere and then have him join our party for this dungeon.
She's running.
It makes no sense.
She got a scholar.
Yeah, lore. The trust probably won't affect the lore in that way. It'll probably just be like, bruh, here's some of my essence. You can make this form of me when you're about to go run this dungeon.
There she is.
Let's do it. Right. You got the echo. Here you go. Make your echo mirage.
There's going to be some echo ability.
Oh, shoot. It's Shadow Clone Jutsu.
It's going to be some echo ability we never knew we had until we have it.
Speaking of references, hey, Reggie.
Yes, sir.
Go to the new areas and go click the one that says Colucia with an H.
Stand by.
What does that remind you of?
Hold on, I gotta pull it up.
Yeah, you gotta pull up the Shadowbringers website.
Are you gonna say Eden?
No.
Wait, is that the wall? Oh, yeah.
It's a fucking rip-off of Game of Thrones, dude.
No, I was just saying that. Yeah, it's totally like the wall from Game of Thrones. It's got the elevator and everything, man.
Oh.
What were the bad guys in those? The zombies? Like the White Walkers or something? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got the Sin Eaters are
but
just
it's the fat cats
White Walkers.
Now.
Yeah.
You got the fat walkers, the cat walkers. I don't know.
Man, those grapes are like high in like sodium.
That zone looks so cool though.
Yeah, we don't have any...
They know how to decimate some grapes.
What's up?
Oh my God.
One gulp.
One gulp. Hey man, you can't do that.
I wonder if by the end of the expansion they're gonna like redesign all these areas to look a little bit more lifelike, or we're still gonna look like the light is still just encroaching, but just told that like it's fixing itself over time. I think that's what we'll get.
We're just gonna peace out. That's what's gonna happen.
Not our problem now. Okay, serious question though.
Yeah.
Do you think the Warriors of Darkness are here, or is that it for them? Do you think?
Oh, I thought they gave up their bodies to come to the source. So I don't think we're gonna see them unless it's gonna be like.
They have the echo though.
Well, maybe we'll see them in a vision.
They went back to the verse, right? So with Minfilia, and Minfilia has a different body now. Yeah. So maybe they're just all dwarfs. Instead of Lalafels.
Dude, that'd be totally rad. There's like a squad of Warrior of Darknesses just hanging out with their.
They can't go.
For all intents and purposes, we haven't seen any new characters other than that one guy with the crystal hand, and people are saying it's the cat boy from
Grahatia.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's him.
Yeah, people are saying it's him.
I think we're all pretty sure it's him. But we could be wrong.
We don't even know.
I don't know. When you get the cutscenes in 4.56, right?
Yeah.
You get the cutscene of the cloaked dude, and he's there. If you look at his face, you can kind of see the facial markings.
Yeah, it's the facial markings
Grahatia had. Yeah. So that to me is a huge indicator that that's who that is.
He's got that like hunched over like Makode though body language too.
Yeah. He also, but it's like usually, well, I guess they're just doing this because they don't want to tell us who that is. But usually, cat people have like outlined ears in their clothing or tails.
Yeah, I mean, you could get rid of that. I'm sure you could.
I mean, his body's all crystallized though.
Yeah.
I doubt they'd hide.
His ears and his tail fell off because it gave crystal.
I doubt they'd hide his body if we knew who he was.
He's got a staff, but his staff is actually his tail.
Oh my God! Is that our Grahatia, or is that like the source's Grahatia, or I mean the first Grahatia?
Yes,
I think that's ours.
So something was said about the Crystal Tower being fairly recent on the first.
That's on the site, yeah. If you go to the Crystarium.
Yeah, so I think that is our dude.
Yeah.
Yep, he's from the source. So, and he has somehow made a connection.
Well, and they did.
So-
They did. If you go when you log into the game, it says like, oh, how to unlock the Crystal Tower, or was it Labyrinth of the Ancients for the newer players? So, well, obviously they're trying to get people through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's some lore about. I mean, I don't remember all of the specifics about the interdimensional travel and stuff, but we went to the void through the Crystal Tower. Like, there was some kind of covenant or bargain or something that Zonde made with the void sent. And so, and it just made it because the void sent come to the source through like weak spots, right? And so something about what Zonde did, like I'm sure somebody was a little bit more into the lore than me, like maybe Ethis or one of the other lore aficionados would have a better idea of what went on there, but Zonde made some kind of pact with the Void Sent, and that's how they were able to use the Crystal Tower as like an anchor to come through and stuff. So I'm thinking there's some other way to do that with other shards as well.
Was it like that scene in Doctor Strange where he's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Sure, I don't know.
Let's go with that.
I'm a little hyped for Endgame, if you couldn't tell.
Zonde was just drunk on power and he wanted more.
Speaking of Endgame, we gotta talk about Eden.
That's right, actually. With our last 25 minutes, I think that's a good place to start talking.
Before we do Eden, can we talk about how Gunbreaker is from the Hrothgar?
Absolutely, go right on ahead.
Just the little bit that the Gunbreaker being from Hrothgar, and that they used it. Obviously, there's female Hrothgar because it talks about it being built from the Queen's Guard of the Gunkilder.
Yeah.
It's another matriarchal.
It does soft confirm that female Hearthguard do exist.
Yeah, which I mean, obviously they do, right? And you go and you look at the races of the Hrothgar, and it says, that the he lions are or Hellions or whatever.
You said it right the first time. He lions. Yep. Go
lions.
on.
That they're what does it say here? Hrothgar of the Helion clan are easily discerned from their counterparts by the warm color of their fur. In ages past, they could be found primarily in the southern region of Ilsbard, devout servants of their queen, one and all. So it's kind of like the opposite of a pride. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Like, lions have prides, right? Where there's one male and there's a bunch of females. Well, Hrothgar has like one female with a bunch of males.
Interesting.
Something like that. And I don't know what the term for it would be, but the reverse pride mentality, I guess.
Yes.
Dude.
It says, though they themselves had no word to describe their clan, scholars come to call them he lions. That's what we're calling them. After observing how the people's lives all but revolved about their queen's needs as the planet circled the sun. So, yeah. So, we know that Hrothgar made gun blades so they could be queen protectors. Let's go. Let's do it.
Is that kind of like FF8, where like the seed soldiers protect the sorcerer or the sorceress? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Because what was the dude? Sid, right? The headmaster.
Yep.
Headmaster made the seed so he could protect his wife, who became the sorceress, from becoming the sorceress. That didn't work out so well, but
No.
To get on the obvious topic revolving around Hrothgar's making Gunbreaker.
Yeah.
The difference between the Hrothgar's attempt on Gunbreaker and the Garlean's attempt, considering both are from Ilsebur, right? I'd actually hope that's explored a little bit more once during the Gunbreaker questline, because there's a vast difference between the gunblades that we see used by the Garleans and what they're using. So it'll be interesting. We know that considering the Gunbreaker is flat out made to be used for the Queen, it's unlikely that they're influenced in any way by like the Garlean equivalent. And I don't think the Garlean version is influenced by the Hrothgar version, but it always could be.
all I know is Thancred is an honorary he lion, and he got to know the queen pretty well, probably.
Yeah, then he killed a fucking
He's got
lion.
that gun.
Stone
He's got
lion.
that gun blade. It's
Yeah.
probably from the queen.
You know how he
Sorry.
talks to women. He's like, "Hey, Queen, how you doing?"
How you
So-
doing?
What quick question though? Do we know what happened to Aliphanode and Alice? Have we seen anything about them?
They're still in the call trance thing.
Oh, we know that Thancred and the others are gonna wake up on Norvrant. I just wonder, but that's also weird. Do you think the call called them to the first? Is that even fair?
Maybe.
All I know is this is the first time we've been separated from them for once.
I mean, it's just they're just gonna pull a Nanamo and be like, "Oh shoot, it was just juice that made you go to sleep for a while.
Lol.
Now you're awake again."
Please no. Please
Oh,
no.
I remember when they killed
All
Nanamo.
right.
Or
what do you guys
Nanamo.
think? What do you guys think Eden's gonna be?
Let me read the description really quick. So, under the
Yeah.
Eden picture, which is just like a big, there's like just like a big white vast wasteland type deal going on, and then the most prominent part of the picture is there's it's like a plant and then a bunch of like grass kind of surrounding it, kind of showing there's life. And it says, beyond the boundaries of Norvrant lies the empty, a land drowned in the primordial light of the flood. To redress the balance of the elements, our hero must wield a power, the likes of which the first have never known, the power of Eden.
So we're gonna be wielding Eden.
Kind of
So they
like
kind of
FF8 or...
yeah,
Oh.
it kind of makes you feel like Eden is some kind of
It's life. Let's not kid ourselves. That's all it is. We're gonna be reintroducing the remaining elements that are missing, save for maybe darkness, right? Because not only do we need to reintroduce darkness back into the first, we also need to reintroduce wind, fire, water, earth. The other elements, ice.
The way it's described, it almost sounds like Eden is like a raid tier involving how we're gonna bring back balance to the first.
Yeah, the other half of that, right?
Yeah, the other
Darkness
half
is probably the one that's missing the most,
yeah.
and the other ones are probably on the brink of extinction. So we
Well,
need
yeah,
to.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So a couple things stand out here. First of all is a land drowned in the primordial light of the flood, right? And then we have to wield a power. Our hero must wield a power, the likes of which the first has never seen or never known. So, like, this is something that hasn't ever been on the first before.
Nope.
Right?
But
And
has it
we're
been on the
fighting
source? Maybe?
the
Or-
first?
The first.
Well, I'm saying, like, have we used it in the source?
We don't
Well,
know yet. So that's
it's
why
unlikely considering the only thing we tend to fight with on the source is light. So
yeah,
That's-
and we're fighting against primordial light, right? And so
can't use light to fight light. It'd be like trying
you
to
think
fight
about Eden, right? What do you think? You go back into the Judaistic lore of the garden, of Eden
Yeah.
and how it was creation
Maybe it's
and
the
how it
apple.
was created. So we're like wielding some kind of powers of creation here, or something
This-
like that.
This
Sounds
is just a
about right.
guess. This is just a guess, but maybe it's a reference to the apple.
It was the fruit, not an apple.
Oh, the
but-
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be saying like a hard reference to the Garden of Eden. I think.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it won't be like, it's just in generic terms. It won't be like, oh, God said, let there be this
Yeah.
and that and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, in general, we're going to have to take the forces which have, formed the source, and we're going to have to try and see where that. I think it's going to talk about the origins of the source and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I don't.
Go ahead, Sora.
I don't really know what it can come by. It's what can come from it. It's super vague, but I'm interested.
I mean, we do have one other thing from Eden that we can draw from, and that's Gaia. And her concept
yeah.
art, she doesn't look very. I mean, she could be, like like Jabe said, that primordial force. She's got the hammer, right? And hammer kind of symbolizes like creation and building, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I think the hammer bit might be driving a little bit, because they said it was just like, I threw that in there because I thought it looked good.
Well, okay, that's just me just drawing strands, of course. Sorry.
It's Tetsuya, so
I mean,
it looks cool. He's gonna use it.
Eden's been used to something before. What can we draw from that?
Say again, I
Probably,
didn't hear you so well.
Yeah, Eden
as a summon, probably
Yeah.
gonna be one of the raid tier bosses.
like looking at the summon here, and it's like this is actually like the ultimate summon in 8.
Is this gonna be like? So we have to wield a power that has never been known, right? Is it
Yeah.
gonna be like how the summons were in like Final Fantasies of old, where you had to go and fight the summons before you could summon them? It's gonna be something like that.
Oh
Maybe,
yeah,
but-
that could be neat.
Yeah,
Do you think
It's like
we're
the-
gonna make
the,
primals to like
like
stir
Guardian
the other
Forces,
elements?
GX.
I mean, this is a different type of power, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
not necessarily primals, but like something.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be junctions, boy. We're gonna draw from that. I'm just kidding.
God, no.
GS!
Oh.
No!
You're too strong on the Final Fantasy game. Nobody wants that.
That
Nobody
the
wants-
duty
I
act. The
quit
duty
right
action will
now.
just be draw.
If they do
Don't get
that,
any ideas,
oh my
Yoshi. Don't
God.
get any ideas. That
The
was just-
memes. Oh.
Final Fantasy VIII was a train wreck. Just
Oh,
saying.
we're kind of robotic here.
There, that's for sure.
You guys kind of sound robotic for me.
Really?
Really?
Uh,
Everyone
Change the
sounds
server.
fine for me.
Same.
We when we first joined Discord, there was kind of some issues with that, but we moved the server, so hopefully that resolved it.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess we'll
Okay,
find out.
there we go.
We'll find out what the power of Eden is.
Just think it's life. I don't want to read into it too much. The screenshot probably shows everything they wanted to convey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna pick up a twig, and then we're gonna go beat innocence with it.
This is gonna be like one of those Hollow Bastion scenarios where we have to fight everything with a wooden sword, and everything's gonna suck. Like all our stats are just gonna be poop, and we're gonna have to get.
Did you actually fight anything with that wooden sword? I just ran. Like,
Dude,
what?
I used like every little bit of magic I could to
That
survive.
sounds like a bad time. Speaking of Hollow Bastion, and by Hollow Bastion I mean Kingdom Hearts. Does the Yora mean we can have a Kingdom Hearts raid tier or something?
You can stop now.
Please, pretty please.
Dude, all our equipment is gonna have more belts and more zippers.
Nobody wants a Keyblade. Sorry.
You're
Nah,
wrong.
man.
Keep to yourself.
Nobody
There's gonna
wants
be
a Keyblade.
There's
I
gonna
You
be
mean-
were a
no-
tank man, but for like us that use magic, we do.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's mods to make your weapons like the Oathkeeper and the Oblivion, so I think there is
Yeah.
kind of a niche for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very niche. You guys stay in your niche.
Go hurt yourself, Jabe.
All right. So what else? So there's that. That's what we can draw from the Eden. The primals.
Oh, so I actually wanted to throw this out there, you guys, because I feel like you all are gonna unanimously like disagree with me. But how interesting would that be if, because like in previous trials, right, from Heavensward, you get to like your third level going in, so like 63, 53, you fight, what was it, Ravana, Susano, like how interesting would that be if, because it's kind of, people are kind of assuming that Innocence is going to be the 77 trial, or maybe the final trial.
Nah, it's got to be a 77.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, how interesting would that be if that was like the 73 trial instead, and Titania being the 77 trial?
Or Innocence is just like Xenos, right? You have a solo trial, and we're like, oh, look at this fool. He got a mask on. We're going to go kill him. And then he smacks you, and you're like, I'm
Well,
sorry.
We know it's a trial because it's up there with
Yeah.
Titania. That's all we know. Where it lies, I don't know if it'll matter much, considering I'm not expecting him to
But technically, Xenos was a trial. He became Shinryu, so...
Hey,
Shut up.
hey, Jin,
What's up?
would you mind
That's not-
reading the information on Innocence?
All right. Says Innocence sits at the top of the hierarchy of sin eaters, the beings that emerge from the flood to plague what remains of mankind. Beyond that, its nature and purpose remain shrouded in mystery.
unless there's something higher than that, it'd be odd for it to be, early on in the expansion.
Yeah.
All I heard was mystery, so I'm going to go get my hat, my monocle, and my pipe.
Shut up, Jabe.
Shut up, Jay.
Dude, I'll be Dr. Watson with you. Like, we'll crack this case together.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's elementary, Watson. Let's go.
Jesus. We know for sure Titania is going to be the first one, though. Or Titania, sorry.
I'm thinking that's probably
Titty
true,
Tanya.
but that would be interesting if Innocence was kind of like the introductory trial, and then there is something even more like badass than, because
Well, we know something more bad. Innocence isn't responsible for it. It's just a product of it, right?
Yeah.
So from that, we know there's going to be something more badass. Just from that alone.
Either way, Innocence is.
That's
a
my
concept.
interpretation, anyway.
Yeah.
the Fat Cat Makotes, that's the ultimate.
Do they just roll down the stairs and form into one big super Mako?
Yeah.
Hell
you
yeah,
think,
dude.
You think Titania, they made her small bust because Lakshmi wanted people to rest in her bosom?
Oh my god. No.
Rest your weary souls
think
in
that's just
my bosom.
I'm sorry, I had to bring up that tangent.
I think
Did you?
that's just.
Did you really? You had to? You sure?
So Lakshmi's like that MILF you've always wanted to be with, and then Titania's like that girl next door. It's just
The one who can't pay her bills or get through school, or yeah, that one.
Yeah.
You mean all of us?
I pay my bills.
And get through school.
I did that.
You're like 40, Jabe. Shut up. It was easier when you did it.
I'm 31. What are you talking about?
Plus, God.
I graduated in 2011.
Damn, you got told,
Yeah.
bro.
He's lying.
So.
He's just saying that because he's
Titania
hating on
is the
millennials.
Primal of the Pixies.
I technically am a millennial.
Shut
don't
up,
have-
old man.
We don't have a
Okay.
primal for like these other two races, for the dwarves and the Nomo or Numo. I've never seen these guys before.
They're like dog cat things.
Like dog cat things with lying, like large.
Are
ears.
they though? Look at those ears.
Yeah, they're like
Like moles
yeah.
with really floppy ears.
I'm
this
happy
a
to
Middle
see
East
some
creature?
original races. I think that's kind of cool.
Isn't this like a Final Fantasy 12 thing though, or no, like a Iblis race?
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
my god, dude, I played Tactics Advance. Come on.
Wait, what
Yeah.
are we talking about?
I'm talking about the tribes, like the beast tribes that are being introduced.
The
So under
The-
Titania and
Mo-
Innocence,
yeah.
if you scroll down, it's got the beast tribes there.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for the lolly hoes.
Lally-ho! Yeah.
The dwarves, the not.
So every time, like, people are. I remember watching a State of the Realm where Ethis was like, "I want them to have beards," and Happy was like, "They're gonna be the Green Goblin ones," and I'm like, "No, you're wrong, Happy. They're gonna be the dwarves from 4." I just said that to myself while they were talking about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
they revealed it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's the dwarves from 4! Lally ho!
Lally-ho.
Let's go!"
Lolly ho.
I mean, they have the helmet. They have like the little beady eyes, and the dark, and the beards. It was gonna be the Final Fantasy 4 dwarves.
I kind of wanted to Fantasia to a Lalafell when I saw that.
the dwarves.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. We need a Lalafell. Too many male Lalafell.
Yeah, I know. It's just you got to run it by the wife. You know how it goes.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Well, no, but I mean we do play the
Okay.
game together, so
Hey, the couples have this thing where they have to match, or at least the female portion says that the male portion has to.
I think she's gonna be insecure if she's taller than you.
so. Well, I'm not. I mean, she'll be taller than me. Alra.
What's
Is your male aura short? That's like the tallest male race available.
No, but
That was
the ears kind of make them tall, don't they?
I mean, the ears don't count, right? We're talking about like from the head.
Yeah, right. No, we were thinking about going with like Balthier Fran type dichotomy. Was kind of what we were thinking.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it enhanced. If I go Lalafell,
We already have it here. That's Aaron. We don't need that. Go Lala. Oh, we can make Aaron go Lala. He's creepy and old.
But what do you think about the fact that those dwarven areas we're not going to be able to go there unless you're a Lalafell, or it's certain parts? What the
I
fuck
don't
is-
know. I don't know. I mean, they just said the houses, right? And I'm not sure you'll actually be able to go into the house. I don't know.
You're probably not gonna be missing anything either. So.
Yeah, there's not, unless it's some random NPC text
Yes.
bubble, or something like that.
Yeah.
in the words of Toasty Rage, we'll just fart on the windows.
She would.
Or on the windows. We're just gonna stand outside and just wait for people to come out.
I don't know. I don't particularly care about it. I mean, the dwarves are going to be obviously the crafting beast tribe. It's very obvious that that's what the dwarves are going to
Yeah,
be.
they're masters at the. Actually, it says right here.
Yeah.
Mining, metallurgy, crafting mechanical marvels. Yep, definitely they're the.
If that doesn't scream out disciple of hand and land, then I don't know what else does.
So we should be expecting a beast tribe for them like 5.3.
Yeah, I mean, when did the
The Namazu.
Namazu come out? 4.3 was it or something? I don't
It
remember.
was 4.3.
I think the
Yeah.
Mughals were also they were 4.3 or 3.3 because like that's when the new crafting and gathering stuff like the best stuff comes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You need that stuff in order to go and get the gear before you go into like 4.4.
You got to do the beast tribes to get it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm okay. I kind of like the pixies in the Numo. They look kind of cool. Pixies were in which Final Fantasy was the pixies in? I can't remember.
4? Wasn't.
Were they?
I
There
can't
was
remember.
there were sylphs in 4.
Yeah, I know there were
Sylphs
pixies
were in
somewhere,
4. I don't remember pixies.
let's look.
Although you could say they're kind of like distantly related, I guess.
Pixies have been introduced in 11
Oh,
and 11.
that's probably why I didn't recall very well, since I didn't
And,
get very far into 11.
Their enemy genus from Final Fantasy 11 and the enemy from Final Fantasy Legend 3. It's like, what?
Final Fantasy
Okay.
Legend?
Legend 3.
Huh.
Yeah, it must be really old.
Is that an offshoot? I'm guessing that was an offshoot.
It's an offshoot.
I don't know all of the branches of the off titles and stuff.
Lolly ho.
Lolly-ho, indeed.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, boys,
Ooh.
we've gotten to our time limit. Does anybody have closing thoughts before I close out?
There is still absolutely nothing to do in Final Fantasy 14, but I'm trying. That's all.
I mean, we still gotta kill Ultimate, right?
I mean, aside from when I'm playing with you guys. But on my own, like,
I mean, you said you wanted to make Gil. Go make some Gil.
I don't know how to
Yeah, I do.
do that. That sounds like time and work.
Oh, really? Making money takes time and work.
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's how you make money.
yeah. Except this isn't actual money; it's virtual currency. So I don't care.
Hey, if you want another house in Ishgard after we get through all the stuff,
you're any money.
Not really in a rush. I already have
Dude,
one house. Not in a rush.
that's,
to get
that's
another.
something that's not on this website, or is it? It is
No, it is.
actually.
It is.
It
It's,
is.
It's like mentioned at the very bottom of
It's
one
in
of these.
gameplay and then all the way in the bottom.
Yeah.
Restoration of the Holy See of Ishgard. Closing thoughts on my pen. I'm on the same boat as Zoro. There's just nothing to do in the game. I could do BA, but
I've already done that. BA was fun the first time. Now it's just a bunch of people wiping all they had.
Hey, if you
Yeah.
want to go make money, go do that. I think they're probably still selling the pieces for a
Yeah, they're
decent
still
amount of
selling
money.
the.
Jay, stop telling me what to do. I've already done that. God.
Got
Go
some
do it
money
again.
in the-
I've done it again.
Go make money off of those fucking. I forgot what they're called. The crystals. Use the means.
Unfortunately, people suck.
Fragments.
Tell
Fragments, yes.
everybody that you're an actual female and like hang out and do dances for Gil.
Wear the Namazu hat while you're doing it.
Nah.
Oh yeah, how do you get the Namusu hat?
So if you get enough Gil, you'll take off the hat.
You gotta finish the
Oh
United
right.
Tribe, and then I think you go buy it from the Namazu
You guys are thoughts.
vendor.
You're a
Where's
thought.
Sif at? Why did Sif join us today?
I don't know.
He should
I
have.
think my closing thoughts are I'm still looking forward to it. I'm still looking forward to it. I really like the way they set up this website. I mean, I took some website development classes when I was in college, so I really appreciate this setup and stuff. But
I took a class, so now I'm a master of an opinion.
I'm not a master. I
That's
can
what I thought.
appreciate the different styles that are going on here, and I really like that they're putting in the effort to make it look good, because it's easy to make a website if you just want to toss stuff up, but it's not easy to design something that really looks good and pops out and flows well. So I think this website does all those things.
Okay.
So kudos.
Congratulations on Final
The
Fantasy
person
14
made the website.
for having good website design.
Give
Actually,
them a
it's
raise.
actually pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I won't lie here.
But the final thoughts on the story and stuff. I really hope that they throw in some twists and they surprise us, kind of like how some of the reveals surprised us, even though there was leaks. I really hope that the story surprises us, and that I mean, we might be able to predict some stuff on some generalities of lore and stuff, but I hope they make it so that it's really interesting, because I think that was the problem with Stormblood, right? We kind of knew what was coming, and it wasn't really all that interesting, and it just didn't pop as well
I
as
think
Heaven's Sword did.
story-wise, Stormblood was just not really good, to be honest. That's my opinion. I think Stormblood's story is not good. But...
I mean, the story was the story, right? But it just wasn't as interesting because
It wasn't memorable like Heaven's Sword.
it just felt like they were trying to do cover too much ground in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean
don't
that's the exposition of the different story elements. That's a different discussion, but whatever it was, I feel like that I just want more twists and turns and surprises to pop out and to make me feel more invested because I wasn't 100. I think the problem is the level of investment in Stormblood wasn't what they wanted it to be. So.
Yeah. You were saying, Reggie?
Oh, I was gonna say I agree. I agree with all those points. I feel like Stormblood is kind of lacking on the story department. And my final closing thoughts, I guess, is that I'm still looking forward to it, and hopefully we get. I'm expecting the benchmark to be pretty hype, so that'll be cool.
When do we get that again?
Hopefully in May. I think that's what they were talking about at FanFest.
Yeah.
So, and with that, I think next week, if you guys want, we could talk about the FF15 collab, because that's going to be coming out next Tuesday.
Oh boy.
Yep, so I guess tune in for that. I'm Reggie.
I want to pit my ride. I'm Jay Black.
This is Jen.
I'm Snow, and
And-
you're watching A Minute of Misfortune.
Name tentative. Thanks for
No, it's
watching,
not.
everybody.
Oh, God.